Hello everyone, welcome to Historically Accurate. In my last episode, we mentioned that Liu Bei was suddenly hit by two major crises at the peak of his power. First, his good brother Guan Yu was defeated and killed. Second, he lost Jin province. At the same time, his political legitimacy was shaken by Cao Pi's usurpation of Han, causing various conflicts within in Liu Bei's forces. Facing the crisis of a regime collapse, Liu Bei resolved the internal conflicts through a series of actions. After that, Liu Bei decided to personally lead his army to start a war against Sun Quan. On the surface, the purpose of Liu Bei's war against Sun Quan was to avenge Guan Yu, but in fact, it was to retake Jin province and restore his own territory. In ancient times, territory equaled population, taxes, supplies, and troops. Liu Bei needed enough territory to fight against the powerful Cao Pi and Sun Quan. Otherwise, he would be like a fighter locked in a small iron cage. No matter how great his martial arts skills and strength were, how could he defeat the enemy if he couldn't even lift his hands? In order to prepare for this battle, Liu Bei promoted many young generals from Jin province, such as the chief commander Feng Xi, the vanguard Zhang Nan, the generals Zhao Rong, Fu Kuang, and Fu Rong, and the staff officer Ma Liang, all of whom were natives of Jin province and belonged to the Jin province faction of Liu Bei's forces. They were the ones who most wanted to retake their hometown. Zhuge Liang stayed behind in Chengdu and was responsible for providing provisions for the entire army. And Zhao Yun was left in Yi province as well by Liu Bei because he opposed the attack on Sun Quan before the war. In addition to the Jin province faction, Liu Bei also brought along Huang Quan from the Yi province faction, a tactician who could almost rival Fa Zheng. The navy was led by Wu Ban, Liu Bei's brother-in-law, from the Dongzhou faction, and Chen Shi, who had performed well in the Hanzhong campaign. In July 221 AD, Liu Bei's army, about 50,000 troops in total, officially started advancing on eastern Wu by both land and water. This lineup, although not luxurious, was still carefully selected by Liu Bei. If Zhang Fei and Huang Zhong were still alive, then Zhang Fei would definitely take the position of the chief commander, and Huang Zhong would probably replace Zhang Nan as the vanguard. If Fa Zheng and Pang Tong were still alive, they could certainly give Liu Bei a lot of key suggestions in the subsequent battles to make up for Liu Bei's shortcomings. I will talk more about this later. Unfortunately, there's no if in history, and Liu Bei only had these young people to command. Just like the Golden State Warriors in the NBA in 2009, if you don't have Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, the best strategy is to pick and train new players with great potential, such as Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. Now the question is, can these newbies live up to expectations? On the other side, Sun Quan became very nervous when he heard the news of Liu Bei's aggressive attack, because he knew that if he went to war with Liu Bei, Cao Pi would be more likely to attack him than Liu Bei. So he sent envoys to Liu Bei to ask for peace, but Liu Bei refused his request. Then he asked Zhuge Jin, Zhuge Liang's elder brother, to write a letter to persuade Liu Bei, but Liu Bei still ignored him. In desperation, Sun Quan had no choice but to appoint Lu Xun as his chief commander in charge of the war against Liu Bei. So who was Lu Xun? In fact, not only you had this question. At that time, many generals under Sun Quan were also puzzled. Who was this guy? Why was him appointed as the chief commander? Indeed, Lu Xun, who was born in 183 AD, was not yet 40 years old. Before he was appointed as the chief commander by Sun Quan, he only had some military achievements in defeating Shan Yue in Wu territory, so he was not famous at all compared with other generals. However, Lu Xun was one of those planning the sneak attack on Guan Yu. Before the sneak attack, Lu Meng pretended to be sick and returned to Jianye to deceive Guan Yu. On his way back to Jianye, he was visited by Lu Xun. Lu Xun discussed with Lu Meng the strategy of conquering Jing province. In the end, Lu Meng recommended Lu Xun to take over his command at the front. Lu Xun also wrote an extremely humble letter to Guan Yu, which made Guan Yu relax his vigilance, giving Lu Meng the opportunity to launch a sneak attack on Jing province later. It can be said that Lu Meng and Lu Xun, one was the scriptwriter and one was the director, together planned the good scene of a surprise attack on Jing province. This was why Sun Quan appointed Lu Xun to replace Lu Meng as the chief commander after Lu Meng died. Immediately after receiving the mission, Lu Xun set out to defend against Liu Bei. As Liu Bei's army had high morale and strong combat effectiveness, Lu Xun didn't intend to fight Liu Bei head-to-head. Instead, he adopted the strategy of constantly luring the enemy deeper and lengthening the enemy's supply line. This can be seen from his arrangement of the defense line. Wuxian, the town closest to Yi province, was garrisoned by Li Yi and Liu E. Zigui, located after Wuxian, was garrisoned by Pan Zhang. Lu Xun himself led his army to garrison Yiling, located southeast of Zigui, and Yida was garrisoned by Sun Huan. Jiangling, an important city in the rear, was guarded by experienced generals Zhu Ran and Han Dang. Gong'an was guarded by Zhuge Jin. Chanling was garrisoned by Luo Tong. Dangyang, located north of Yiling, was defended by Xu Sheng to monitor the Wei army in the north. Southern Jing province was guarded by Bu Zhi in Yiyang. Sun Quan himself was in Wuchang to guard the rear. We can tell that Lu Xun's military configuration was like an earthworm. It wouldn't die even if the front was cut off. But his military configuration couldn't be cut off indefinitely, otherwise it would turn into earthworm mud. He eventually had to pick a spot to start blocking Liu Bei. So where was this spot? When I talked about Battle of Hanzhong, I mentioned that when Liu Bei entered Hanzhong with his army, he was blocked by Yangping Pass for more than 1 year and couldn't do anything about it. On Lu Xun's end, there were mainly plains and hills with no high mountains. Was there a place similar to Yangping Pass, located in an area of strategic importance and hard to access, that could block Liu Bei? The answer was yes, and the place was Xiaoting. Although Xiaoting was not a pass, the waterway suddenly narrowed and there were numerous reefs in Xiaoting, making it difficult for ships to navigate. Moreover, the land near this stretch of water was dominated by mountains and dense forests, which was very unfavorable for land forces to move. Both banks along the river were high and steep cliffs, making it almost impossible for the navy and the land forces to look out for each other. Such a location was quite conducive to Wu's defense, and it could be said that this was the Yangping Pass of this battle. Whoever could control here would win a decisive victory. So what was Cao Pi doing when Sun Quan and Liu Bei were preparing for the war? As I mentioned in my last episode, Sun Quan voluntarily bent the knee to Cao Pi, which happened after he failed to sue for peace with Liu Bei. From Cao Pi's point of view, he had two options when facing Sun Quan's request for peace. One was to ignore it and launch a surprise attack on Sun Quan when Liu Bei won or when two sides were at a standstill. The other was to accept Sun Quan's surrender. Unfortunately, since Cao Pi had just taken the throne and had not gained the people's trust, Sun Quan's timely recognition of Cao Pi's throne made him very comfortable. Just like in Game of Thrones, when Joffrey became king, he couldn't wait to ask other kingdoms to recognize his throne. Cao Pi thus gave up the idea of attacking Sun Quan and Sun Quan's humiliating behavior was greatly rewarded. At this time, Liu Bei had only one thought in his mind. As long as you, Sun Quan, don't kneel before me and surrender, I will beat you to death. Liu Bei's army did progress well. Wu Ban and Feng Xi led the navy to defeat Li Yi and Liu E in Wuxian, and continued to advance towards Zigui. Soon, Zigui was also captured by Liu army. In January 222 AD, Wu Ban and Chen Shi led the navy to attack Yiling, while Lu Xun voluntarily gave up Yiling and retreated to the area of Xiaoting and Yidao, establishing a solid line of defense. Liu Bei and his army made very good progress in the early stage, but he knew it was Lu Xun's intention to let him go deeper into Wu territory and lengthen the battle line. So after capturing Yiling, Liu Bei became cautious. After scouting, he found that the rapids and reefs made Xiaoting a place difficult for his navy to fight. In addition, after the death of Guan Yu, Liu Bei's navy wasn't as strong as before. He wasn't sure if he could break through Wu navy's defense in Xiaoting with his navy alone. Therefore, he decided to simply station the warships at Yiling and ask Wu Ban to lead the navy ashore as the second vanguard, following Liu Bei's main army to advance towards Yidao. At the same time, Liu Bei asked Huang Quan to lead a part of his army across the Yangtze River and station it in the north of the river to defend against the possible sneak attack of Wei army. Ma Liang was also sent out by Liu Bei as an emissary to the south of Jin province to contact the local barbarians to rise against Sun Quan. When Liu Bei arrived outside Yidao, he couldn't continue. It was not because Yidao was strongly defended, but because his supplies could no longer be quickly transported to his army by water. Starting from Yiling, supplies for the army had to be transported ashore and across the mountainous area on the other side of Xiaoting, so Liu Bei could only set up dozens of camps in the mountains and station his army there. The benefit of doing this was that it was easy to defend from a high position, and if Liu Bei wanted to attack, he could just go down the mountains. Since then, Liu Bei had completely entered the battlefield prepared for him by Lu Xun. From Lu Xun's point of view, although his front was temporarily stabilized, he still didn't find a good way to repel Liu Bei for the time being, since Liu army was extremely tough on the battlefield. The two sides could only confront each other in the Xiaoting Yidao area. In the eyes of the other eastern Wu generals, Lu Xun had not won a single battle since the beginning of the war, but had lost a large area of land, allowing Liu Bei to penetrate into the hinterland. As a result, they were all resentful of the young chief commander who had little military achievements. Lu Xun was aware of this situation, but as the chief commander, he behaved neither humble nor arrogant. He told his generals that Liu Bei was a rival that even Cao Cao feared. Although he was just a scholar, his ability was obviously trusted by Sun Quan since he was appointed as the chief commander. He hoped that the generals could follow his orders and stop complaining. Otherwise, he would have to punish them according to military law. This speech finally temporarily placated the generals. During the stalemate, Liu army was also actively looking for opportunities to fight. Ma Liang, who was sent to Wulin Commandery, successfully incited the local Shanyue barbarians. The leader of the barbarians, Sha Moke, led about 10,000 people to rebel against Sun Quan. Sun Quan urgently ordered Bu Zhi, who was guarding Yiyang, to lead his troops north to quell the rebellion. Although there was no military advisor like Huang Quan, Ma Liang, Fa Zheng, and Pang Tong around Liu Bei to provide strategies by his side, he came up with his own plan to break the deadlock. He ordered Wu Ban to lead part of his army down the mountains as a bait, while he himself led the main force to ambush on the mountains, waiting for Wu army to take the bait. When Wu generals saw Wu Ban coming down the mountains and stationing his troops there, they wanted to rush up like zombies seeing a living person. But Lu Xun was very calm, saying that Liu Bei's move was deceitful, and ordered everyone to hold their posts and not to attack. Sure enough, some days later, seeing that Lu Xun didn't take the bait, plus the weather was hot, Liu Bei ordered Wu Ban and the ambushed troops to withdraw. When Wu generals saw Liu Bei's troops in ambush on the mountains, they realized that Lu Xun's decision was right and began to believe in him. Failing to lure Lu Xun, Liu Bei decided to launch a feint attack on Sun Huan, who was stationed in Yidao, forcing Lu Xun to send troops to rescue him. Seeing Sun Huan under siege, all Wu generals said they must rescue him because he was a member of the Qing family. They couldn't afford to expose Sun Huan to any risk. But Lu Xun resisted the pressure and was determined not to rescue Sun Huan. He told the generals, Sun Huan was very much admired by his men and would definitely be able to withstand the attack for some time. As long as I can defeat Liu Bei in Xiaoting, Sun Huan's crisis will be automatically relieved. In fact, at this time, Lu Xun already had a plan in mind to defeat Liu Bei. It was June 22 AD, and both sides had been confronting each other in Xiaoting for over half a year. Liu Bei had been unable to find Lu Xun's flaws. In addition, the weather was very hot. As a result, the morale of Liu army was gradually declining. Lu Xun decided to first cross the river and attack one of Liu Bei's camps in the mountains. The attack failed, and he was again questioned by the generals. However, at this time, Lu Xun said with confidence, I have found the way to defeat the enemy. The next night, Lu Xun ordered everyone in his army to take a handful of thatch, rush to Liu Bei's camp and set fire to all of them. Liu army, which had just repelled Lu Xun's attack, let down its guard. The fire spread very quickly in the hot and dry weather, throwing Liu army into great chaos. At this moment, Lu Xun ordered all his generals to attack with their full strength, and Liu army immediately fell into rout with countless deaths and injuries. Feng Xi, Zhang Nan, and the barbarian leader Sha Moke, who came from Wulin to help, were all killed in battle. At the same time, Lu Xun dispatched Zhu Ran and Han Dang to lead 5,000 troops to capture Zhuoxiang on the other side of Yiling, blocking Liu Bei's way to retreat north. Lu Xun's navy also blocked the river so that Huangquan in the north of the river could not withdraw to the south bank. Due to the relatively long battle line, Liu Bei, who was at the front line of Yidao, heard that the rear was defeated and the way to retreat was blocked, had to retreat with his remnants to Ma'an Mountain in the southwest, ready to fight to the death with Lu Xun. On his way to retreat, Liu Bei heard that Ma Liang was killed in Wulin Commandery. At this time, Lu Xun and Sun Huan joined forces and surrounded Ma'an Mountain. Liu army fought to the death, but still suffered heavy casualties. The corpses of the soldiers blocked up the river. Now, Liu Bei had no military generals, no strategists, and no soldiers. His escape route was also blocked. At the age of over 60, would he be able to climb hundreds of kilometers of mountain road, escape the enemy's layers of interception, and successfully retreat? I have to stop here due to time limit. In my next episode, which will be the last episode of this series, we will discuss what happened after the Battle of Yiling and reflect on the possibility of Liu Bei winning this battle. If you like my videos, please like, subscribe, and share them. If you have any thoughts and suggestions, please leave your comments below. See you next time!